Welcome, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really foundational, divine kingship and righteous rule. We've based this exploration on, well, an analysis in an ebook that really boils it down using just 8 key biblical verses.
That's right. And our goal here is pretty clear. We want to pull out the core ideas about God as king, the principles behind his rule, and crucially, where you fit into all that. And getting those 8 verses, that was a very careful process. We actually swapped a couple, like using 1 Samuel 18.1 instead of 19.2, and 2 Samuel 6.2 for 5.12, just to make sure every bit of the source text was laser focused on this theme, maximizing relevance.
Absolutely. And this isn't just, dusty old text. It's really a shortcut to grasping big concepts, sovereignty, allegiance, consequences, ideas that, frankly, still resonate today in surprising ways. You'll definitely walk away better informed. So, okay, where do we begin with this divine kingdom idea?
Well, what's fascinating is the core, almost like a constitutional statement, comes from Psalms 45.6. It says, "Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of thy kingdom is a scepter of rectitude." So right away, it establishes this isn't just any kingdom. It's eternal, it's divine, and its very foundation, its rule, is fundamentally moral based on justice, on rightness. Wow, okay. An eternal throne, a scepter of rectitude. That's a strong image. So what does that tell us about who this king is and just how big is his domain? Is that spelled out? It points straight to 2 Samuel 6.2. That verse uses the title Lord of Hosts. Now, hosts, the Hebrew there is anga, and our first thought might be armies, right? Earthly armies. But when you dig into the language, it's much bigger. It covers all the organized systems in the cosmos. Think angels, stars, planets, really all of creation. Genesis 2.1 even hints at this. So Lord of Hosts isn't just a military title. It's a declaration of absolute, total sovereignty over everything, the entire universe.
Right, that definitely changes the scale. A cosmic king. Okay, so if the king is cosmic, ruling with this scepter of rectitude, how do people, the subjects, relate to him? What does loyalty look like?
Yeah, that's key. And 1 Samuel 18.1 gives us a really profound picture with Jonathan and David. It says, Jonathan's nephew, his soul was bound to David's nepois. Now, nissa in Hebrew, it's way more than just spirit or emotion. It's the whole life force, the very essence of your being. Yeah. This isn't just deep friendship. It's describing a total, almost covenantal binding, giving your entire self in allegiance to the divinely chosen ruler, even before he's officially king. Think about that depth of commitment.
A complete binding of one's being. That is deep. And it's not just individuals floating around, right? There's some structure to this kingdom.
Exactly. It's ordered. We see a hint of that in Numbers 26.21, which mentions Mishaot. These are like the basic units, families, clans, communities. It shows the kingdom is structured, organized from the ground up, reflecting that righteous rule, not chaos.
Okay, so an ordered kingdom demanding this deep, total allegiance. What happens then if someone chooses not to align? If they actively rebel against this scepter of rectitude?
Rebellion in this context, it's framed as treason, essentially. Jeremiah 36.23 gives a really stark image. King Jehoiakim. He has the prophetic scroll read to him, God's word. And what does he do? He takes a knife, cuts it up, and throws it in the fire, piece by piece. That's not just disagreement. It's a physical attack on the king's decree. It shows utter contempt for divine authority, for the law itself.
Cutting up the scroll, That's intense defiance. So what's the outcome for those who choose that path? Who decide to live outside this righteous order?
Job 18.11 puts it pretty vividly. Terrors trouble him. It paints this picture of, chaos, fear, being trapped. It literally mentions snares, catching those who operate outside the king's rule. It's a direct contrast to the peace and the security you'd find inside the well-ordered kingdom under that scepter of righteousness, a fundamentally different reality.
Right. So let's recap quickly for everyone. You've gotten this picture today of a cosmic king ruling over everything, an allegiance that's about binding your whole self, and then these really clear, almost visceral consequences for choosing rebellion over that righteous rule. It definitely gives you a lot to think about regarding authority and loyalty, even in our own lives.
Absolutely. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. The sources seem to lay out a very clear choice. Are you going to live under the protection, the order of that scepter of righteousness, or risk the terrors that are described as being outside the kingdom's boundaries? What kind of allegiance really does this understanding ask of you?